Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 of this best of 3. It's the I-League LAN Finals, brought to you by Beyond the Summit. I'm LD, and I'm joined here by Cinder. And Cinder, we're going to see this Terrorblade ban in the first phase once again, which also, for those who want to see Terrorblade in action in 6.82, he is finally in Captain's mode. He's being played right now in Southeast Asia on the Dota Starladder _EN stream. So if you want to check that out, Lakels is playing the Terrorblade apparently. Great hard carry player, way back from the TI1 days. But yeah, anyway, with that said, no Terrorblade over here.
Yeah, Lakels is just one of those split push players that hero really fits, and so is Black, which is why I once again think LGD are banning it like they did in Game 1. They don't want to deal with it. And interestingly enough, Vici will be banning out the Lycan here, so, well, not a big surprise seeing LGD as first pick and Vici considered it a first pick in Game 1, but now that they've switched sides, we're going to see something else come out here. Vici made it work in the last game with a draft where we weren't completely sure what exactly it was supposed to do and where it was heading. I'm still not, after seeing the game, I'm not fully convinced that their lineup was actually really that good. And I think if Vici get off to a better draft this time around against LGD, I think we might see a much more Vici-dominated game.
Yeah, let's see what the draft offers us here. For now, it's a Razor first pick, but this hero got hit pretty hard by the nerf bat. To me, it's like Tinker probably the most hard hit, and then after him, it's, I would say, possibly Razor. Plasma field minimum damage was cut in half. It still can deal the same at max, but, I mean, you can't really count on always catching someone on the boundary of it. And Static Link no longer ignores Linkage Sphere. The mana cost is 50 at all levels instead of starting at 20 and scaling to 50 at level 4. And even if you get the Aegis, one of the really cool things about Razor was your Eye of the Storm would persist. Unlike, say, like a Death Prophet Ultimate or Dragon Knight ult, but that's no longer the case, and it does not persist through Aegis Reincarnation. So, a hero that got hit on multiple fronts and also just generally seemed like he was super well suited for the last version with all the emphasis on 5-manning. Getting an early mech was really good on him, but we're not going to see that. We'll see the Visage Drow for Vici.
Wow, it's the first 2 picks.
They've done this a lot recently.
Yeah, this has gained popularity, but for it to jump up to this state, I'm pretty surprised, actually, that it did do that. Of course, interesting in 6.82 is that both of these heroes have actually been buffed, so in theory it should be even better than it used to. Other carry heroes and other strong cores got nerfed, but both Drow and Visage are doing great. The familiar drops now have 4 seconds less cooldown, from 30 to 26, and Drow's Frost Arrows now scale better. They used to have a really weird scaling, and now it's linear, 15 and then plus 15 per level. Now Tusk is picked up by LGD. This is the hero I absolutely love to see played. I feel like it's really cool and has a lot of potential. He got changed a lot as well. Ice Shards are now ground target, so you choose when they stop when you cast it instead of having them stop on collision with the first hero. And that allows for some very different plays where you basically block off paths, and you can do some cool stuff with that, in addition to allies being able to jump into your snowball and not you having to pull them in.
Okay, so sorry, I was double-checking something at the stream. So you're saying the shards got changed. Okay, I haven't actually seen the Tuskar changes yet. And the snowball is a little bit stronger, and allies could just choose to jump in. Ooh, that is pretty cool. This hero was already seeing some play in China. Hyper Glory Team was the main team that ran him. The interesting thing, I guess, is that it seems like I'd say the majority of players are maxing Sigil. But the spells that are getting buffed are not Sigil. So I'm wondering if this even causes players to change their approach. Or if, I mean, I suppose these changes are still good even at level 1. So you don't really have to change the skill build. But I am interested to see if players think they're more valuable now.
Yeah, it's true. The things that got changed about Ice Shard and Snowball are indeed all on level 1. The bonus speed is the same on all levels for the Snowball, which is now 100 instead of 75. And the Ice Shards have the same duration and the same damage and the same cooldown. It was just, I think so at least. And the travel distance should also be the same. So, absolutely right. I wouldn't be surprised to see them maxing Sigil. I feel like in general it's an underappreciated skill, especially in pubs, but even in competitive, sometimes teams that play Tusk maxed Snowball and Ice Shards, which is, you know, more of a pub burst build, but in a competitive scenario, Frozen Sigil is absolutely insane for team fights. If you look at what it does, it's a 25% movement speed slow, a 60 attack speed slow, for 30 seconds in a 600 radius, and it's movable. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and of course goes through magic immunity as well. So very strong ability. It's even decent for helping with just fighting near the row ship, and it's actually more of a team fight ability than what I guess it sounds like at first glance. So I like this hero a lot, and I think where we're likely to see him is just roaming a lot early on. That's generally what he's been most effectively used for. I've seen Tuskar Wisp used quite a bit by HGT, the team I mentioned earlier. We could just see a standalone Tuskar. He's mostly been run as a support. I don't think I've seen too much core Tusk. The only spell that he has that really scales at all with farm is the Walrus Punch. So
The one time I've seen it in a competitive scenario where it was as a core, I think was DDZ playing it solo mid in the qualifiers for TI4, I think, for Arrow. And they won that game, but I'm not really sure. I think that they could have done that with another hero and done it more convincingly. So I'm not quite sold on the Tusk core idea for competitive either. But it would be really cool to see if they can make it work. Now they're doing it with a Void though, and these two to me have pretty poor synergy. The one good thing they have together is that when you get a good Chronosphere, you can very easily place the Ice Shards to lock them off even more afterwards. But Tusk can't get in there, and he can't roll his team into it either. So it seems like a little bit of a peculiar lineup here for LGD.
so the snowball it stops when it hits the Chronosphere, right? Or does it keep on rolling?
I am not sure, but regardless, then they get stuck
Yeah,
in the
then they're
Chronos.
stuck in Chrono. So
And then they're all stacked, and then if the enemy has any sort of counterplay potential, they'll just roll you. So it's kind of worrying.
yeah, well, 4 ranged heroes for Vici Gaming now.
4 blue heroes.
They're going with the blue strat. LGD.cdec, a little bit of everything. Some blue, some red. That makes purple. Not sure what red and purple make, but whatever those combine is probably what the fourth hero will be.
Ooh,
Darkseer.
nice.
Used to
So
see this
this-
hero a lot with the Void. It's quite a cool combo.
Yeah, and he's extremely good with Tusk too. You can Iron Shield Tusk, and he can roll in, and then you suddenly have an Iron Shield target right on top of you with Ice Shards. When you have a combination of melee heroes and kind of in-your-face heroes, Darkseer is so good. He offers the Surge as well for them to get in and catch up. So I like this pick a lot from LGD. I'm slightly worried about the laning phase, though, because they're playing into 4 range, and they're playing with triple melee. And if they get off on the back foot in the laning stage against a lineup that has this Visage Drow mid-game, and on top of that, you even have the Dream Call control and the Edict to push down towers, the base of LGD could be gone before they even start getting the farm they kind of need for their lineup to flourish in the mid-game.
Now the final ban's coming out. Vici Gaming will ban out a Clockwork. Honestly, I guess they're worried about like a Rattlesnake style dual lane. I don't know if you ever saw them play Sin, but the old Rattlesnake used to run this Darkseer Clockwork dual lane a lot.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm not sure if that would really be that suitable this game, but I guess the other thing to consider, it is a hero that could just jump the Drow, and generally that seems to be the way to beat Drow Visage, is ideally just shut them down to the laning stage. But if you can't do that, then have heroes that can just get on top of them, or not them, the Drow in particular in the mid game, so that she doesn't get that bonus agility.
Yeah, that's not a problem for LGD in this game for sure. They can definitely get in there. The problem, rather the question is, once they reach the Drow, can they kill her with their lineup without taking 2 big casualties? And now it's going to be a Sven last pick for Vici. There's a couple of things that are interesting about Sven now. Or actually, I think there was only one change, but he's getting an Ag Scepter upgrade. And the way this Ags works, correct me if I'm wrong, so it's an aura. When you cast your ultimate, all allies, also in 900 AoE, get 40/60/80% extra base damage, and it's based off their own damage, not off Sven's, correct?
The way it's worded, I couldn't actually tell you. I haven't seen him yet in pubs. It just says he grants an allied aura for 40, 60, 80% of base damage. So the way it's written, it's kind of vague. I think you're right that it's allied based on like your own damage, not on Sven's.
If it's like Vlad's, you also get off your own base damage, not off the Vlad's carrier's base damage in the aura. So,
yeah, that's how I'm guessing it works as well. That's still a ton of... Either way, it's still a ton of damage.
And since it's an aura, it should affect Sven himself too, which means when he has a level 3 ultimate, he gets 280% bonus damage from casting ult, right? Because all auras also affect the bearer.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage, and it means
hard.
Like you just get Ags, maybe Treads, and I don't know, Blink, BKB. Like you're already hitting for. I mean, I don't even know how much that would be, but probably like well into like the 400-ish range. Something like that. It's going to be a lot.
Very hard.
Sure. Very hard. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
And the aura, I really hope he goes Ags, because this aura is a pretty cool idea here. Now, I think the aura only affects heroes, right? It says Scepter ally bonus damage.
It just says
if
allied
it also
aura.
affects creeps. Then if it affects the familiars, that's like nothing, because their base damage is 10, so that's pretty garbage. But if it works on creeps, and also on summoned units, there could be some cute pushing strategies with this where you pump up some of your necro books and stuff like that. That could be pretty cool. I'm not sure. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I believe it doesn't say it only affects heroes, so my natural assumption would be it affects creeps, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Crystal Maiden picked up by LGD.cdec. Not the most exciting support, I guess, in some sense, except we haven't seen her in such a long time.
Happy to see CM finally played. I think she was one of the 7 unpicked heroes at TI4, right?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing her at all.
Single CM pick. So the change now actually buffs her quite a lot. First of all, one of the ways you run CM is partially in the jungle, and now Frostbite deals 1,000 damage to creeps instead of 700, which it did before. And in addition to that, it's been rescaled from doing, 70 damage every single second, or every started second, to now doing 50 damage every half second. So it scales 150, 200, 250, 300, instead of 140, 140, 210, 210. So it's better on all levels. Yeah, just flat out better on all levels. And Freezing Field has 20 more AoE.
So she can kill any big creep now with a single Frostbite?
Apart from this big Satyr, that has 1100, right?
Okay.
Just need to attack that like 3 or 4 times, I'm pretty sure. But it's a big deal.
That was the issue with her, because they lowered her intelligence, and she just really couldn't jungle as quickly as she used to be able to. But with this, I guess her jungling is now... I don't know if it's exactly back to where it was, but it's pretty comparable, it sounds like. Well, I guess we're going to find out soon enough.
Really looking forward to seeing that. These are some cool lanes, and this is what we were hoping from 682. So this is going to be a good game no matter what. Yeah,
Vici, more or less what they've done the past few weeks, but especially for LGD.cdec, this is fresh. And another thing is, Crystal Freezing Field sounds amazing. Combo with Chronosphere, if they get a good Chrono. Vacuum Heroes into it. You can, follow that up with the Crystal Maiden. Alt Razor can be zapping people. It sounds scary in theory. Of course, it's all about the Void for that. But yeah, we'll introduce the teams now. FY will be on your support Visage. Fenrir, his buddy, will be handling the Sven. That puts Black under the carry Drow Ranger. Super will be playing a farming Leshrac. And for now, he's heading mid. Ice is going top on the puck. That makes more sense. And then on the side of LGD.cdec, Garter will be playing the Tuskar. XH will be the Razor. Q, that support Crystal Maiden, maybe going mid as the Void. Our second mid faceless Void on the day. And that does leave 3-3-3 as the offlaner in the Darkseer.
There are so many things about this game that I really like. Core Leshrac, CM picked, Tusk picked. I just can't wait to see these lanes unfold. This is going to be really cool. I hope Super showcases the new Ag Scepter that we talked about earlier today. Ag Scepter for Leshrac is now insanely good. On level 1, Pulse Nova deals 160 damage per second with Ag's upgrade. Instead of the base 100 it now has on level 1, which is also pretty high compared to what it used to be back in the day. So this hero has been receiving a lot of buffs, mainly as a core, and still teams have been choosing to mainly play it as a support, but that might change now.
Yeah, bit of harassment on maybe. They force out the Time Walk, and that's really the main goal here in the mid lane is, obviously, Void does not have the best mana pool. Maybe starting with pulled regen, he'll almost certainly have to ferry himself some at the rate this lane's going, and for now, Fenrir just hanging around, helping him get some denies and securing that Leshrac's early, whatever it is. I imagine probably just a bottle rush, maybe some early boots, but they're not going to let this Void get any farm in the mid lane, it seems.
LGD will have to rotate Tusk and CM to execute a gank here. I think any dual lane they put mid will lose to Sven Lesh. This is a good old 648B combo back when Blink Daggers couldn't be disabled, and everyone was playing in-your-face stun nuke kind of lineups. And it still works. Like, in terms of the lane itself, it might even be better than it was back then now that Sven has Warcry, Lesh has been buffed a bit. Overall, this is a really deadly lane. At the very least for maybe, he does have Time Walk, so they probably can't kill him, but as far as dominating the lane, that's a given. Sven has 7 denies, by the way, look at that.
And those are a much bigger deal this game. Like, he's basically even level-wise with them, and that's before they even finish up some of these creeps. They're both going to be about 2.5, and So too is he. These denies are actually making a major difference. That's not the only lane where there's denies. There's 7 more denies in the bottom lane for Black, though. Not much that the Darkseer can do about it. He's not level 3 either yet. And Vici Gaming, to top it off, are controlling the runes. They get the Illusion rune bottom, the Bounty rune top. The one lane where they are struggling is going to be Ice 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 on that puck. He's not having a good time.
No, but the good news for... I feel like overall this is actually a fairly even trade in the off lanes, but in the mid, of course, LGD will be losing out heavily on this. But this is a good lane for Darkseer, I think, the bottom lane. He's up against heroes... The heroes that Darkseer fares best against in the lane are heroes that only have slows. Like, yes, Drow does have Gust, but if Black, first of all, he needs to skill it, and secondly, he'll be knocking Darkseer in the right direction when casting it to get away. And Darkseer doesn't care about slows, he just surges and runs away. So he will be getting a lot of experience here in comparison to Ice Ice Ice, who will be struggling a bit more. And he's actually chosen to play without Phase Shift. What do you think about that? This is a really rare sight, especially in the offlane. You would think Phase Shift is a given.
Is there anything good to phase shift here right now, I guess, is the... Oh, mid lane. Stun goes on to maybe. They'll follow this up with a level 2 Split Earth, and then the Edict will come through, but he can time walk out. Still, a lot of harassment. This Void is getting nothing. I guess the main issue is you can't phase shift static...
I'm sorry, I can't get over the fact that Sven has 0-12. I don't think I've ever seen this before. In a 3-minute game, he's got 12 denies in a dual lane mid. It's like it's Fenrir's only job. They've just decided, okay, I last hit, you deny. Good old classic lane control style, and it's just working wonders for them here. Maybe it's going to be an absolute non-factor if this continues for a while.
I wonder if we're going to see more dual lanes with the reemergence of denies. Just being able to shut one hero down with 2 is quite potent, but they will catch FY bottom lane. There was a rotation here, Snowball's ready, and this is probably going to be your first blood. Iron Shell to finish the job. They will end up getting the kill.
This Tusk is going to be really, really scary if they play it like this. With Darkseer having a good lane, the Iron Shell will be leveled up fast, and when it reaches level 3 or even level 4, the Tusk can pretty much solo kill any of the fragile heroes on Vici. He can solo kill the Drow for sure, probably solo kill the Visage as well with the right timing with the Ice Shards and the stun, and of course Leshrac as well, so... It's a really cool and kind of a gimmicky combo that LGD have pulled out here, but if it works, it really works.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the Darkseer Clockwork, and I think in some ways it is similar, but this Tuskar just... He offers you so much even at level 2 with the Snowball and the Shards. And can be a real force later on to slow down the Drow's damage output in these upcoming fights. For now, they're still pressuring the bottom lane, and Black is being shut down quite hard now. He got his early farm, but he's not really comfortable to enter the lane. The supports will try to rotate in. Fenrir has left that mid lane. He's already hit level 4. And he can look for a Stormbolt now, but he doesn't have too much backup. Gets caught up by the Ice Shard. Now they can do a little bit of work here at the Snowball. Held in position by the Frostbite. Fenrir should end up going down, though the trade may come from Super. Trying to finish off 3-3-3. He survives for now, but ends up falling eventually. The Sven lives, barely at that. Now Garter on the way out. Edict damage, burning him low. Split Earth, not dodged. He'll end up falling too. It's 2 down. It's going to be 3. Q also falling. The first blood heavily punished, with 3 kills going the way of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, that just went all sorts of wrong for LGD there. I think they layered the Snowball and the Frostbite, so they weren't really sure. They didn't have a clear-cut order in which to initiate, and the Ice Shards also didn't... I'm not sure if Garter is familiar with the new Ice Shards, but I'm supposing he is, since first of all they picked it, and I think he's used it once or twice before in the game, but they weren't really on point either. Sven kind of dodged them. He took the damage, but didn't get caught like they wanted. And that means he avoided a little bit of damage, and then the turnaround potential from Vici there was just way too much. And great play by Fenrir as well to keep his cool there and do everything he needs to do in that fight and still get out.
And they're aggressive tri-laning this bottom lane. The goal is to shut down the Visage and the Drow, but Black already has his Midas if he wants to get by it. If he can get to the side shop, he will. And you look at your Visage for FY, not an amazing start, but he's doing fine here. Hits level 3.5. He'll get close to level 4 after this creep wave, and the main thing is just this Midas. This Drow will get a fast level 11, a fast level 16, unless constantly ganked, and it almost puts LGD under a clock sin. I mean, their team fight is great if they get the whole combo, but right now they're on the back foot. Bottom lane, they'll start chasing it on Q, but the Snowball's there. It comes crashing through, hits too. Now the Shards, oh, not enough. Soul Assumption will get that first kill, and with the Frost Arrow stacking up, they need a little bit more to make up for this. 3-3-3 on the way out. Soul Assumption, he's short on mana, 20 short. Fenrir will end up falling. Maybe never dropped the Chronosphere. And he'll continue chasing here, though I don't know if he gets in range for anything. He needs 240 mana for the combo. Has no stick charges and teleports to bottom for absolutely nothing in the end. Although, I guess they got the Sven kill, but he didn't really do too much to achieve that.
That was pretty expensive for LGD again. It was a 1-for-1 trade. They lost out a lot of time on their mid and top lane. And Ice is now, after he kind of got shut down pretty well, he now has 20 CS at 7 minutes. He has boots and bottle and level 6. And that means even a hero, like, or not even a hero, exactly a hero like CM can actually not stand on lane against him. She can get soloed, so he's starting to put pressure by forcing particular heroes to go to the top lane because now not anyone can stand there anymore. And like this early game from LGD, that could have been so good. The problem when you draft a lineup like this, which is so dependent on the early ganks working, is what's the recovery plan? What's plan B? Void lost his lane. Razor's doing fine, but he's not really a carry in that sense. He's more of a utility, I want to call it, who can then transition into doing heavy damage mid-game, but not be a super late gamer. And then on the other side, you have a Drow farming great, and a Lesh getting good farm as a core in mid. As we speak of that, though, Fenrir. Great ice shards here by Garter. 4-on-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it is still expensive, and it's the Sven. It's not the Drow, it's not the Visage. Hell, even the Leshrac to me is gonna need the farm and items more, or and the levels more, and well, the Sven still offers his team a lot with Warcry and the stun. Ice. Able to jaunt his way over the ice shards there. He'll survive, but even when LGD are getting these kills in, they're too expensive. They're not getting enough out of them, and they're giving too much space elsewhere on the map. That's
now when you're getting away with running a Midas Drow and you're still winning the early game, then the games tend to go in one direction now. If they also let Visage have the level 6, this is turning into the stereotypical Cloud9 greed game with Drow Visage where they don't get countered. And I don't think they ever lose those games. Almost. It's extremely rare. They've lost with Drow Visage, but it's mainly been when the early game has been even or even favoring the opponent. But if they get off to the great start, if they get their farm, and especially if they can afford to run a Midas, this mid game is looking really grim for cdec.
The only thing I could see being different is sometimes in those games, Cloud9 do throw bodies at buildings, and just rely on kind of rat Dota / split push to some extent. I think you have to be a little more polished in this patch, because if you get that far ahead, which they probably will at the rate they're going, then it can really rubber band against you. We haven't seen a game yet where it's incredibly one-sided until pretty much the games are over, but
Black might have just got really lucky there. If they would have run down, he was probably totally dead here. This snowball is going to be very quick. There's 4 heroes in it when he decides to cast it, but I think Vici might have figured it out. Now I think they even saw them with the ward now, so another big waste of time here for cdec. Seems like they're kind of getting desperate already 10 minutes in.
Yeah, the familiars are already out for the Visage. Drow's hit level 8. Puck is ready to jump in mid lane, and to top it off, the supports of LGD.cdec are both level 4. This is costly. Vici Gaming may just go for a tower trade, but it's a trade they'll probably win, Sind. They have the Drow Visage pushing in the bottom lane. The familiars will hold the line mid for now. And they're not even getting this tower.
Top. They're actually pushing 2 towers for 1, and they're not even losing the 1.
Yeah, this is not looking like a good exchange. Vici Gaming will smoke now. Not spotted out by LGD.cdec. They'll make their way towards top. Well, Garter heads back to defend that bottom tower, but they're about to clear high ground here. Does the Razor see them coming? Smoke was revealed. Oh, they revealed Fenrir. I think they got a little peek at him there. Yeah, Catapult sees him now. So they won't find the opening for a kill, but still they're getting to play their farm game.
The interesting thing about this is that cdec might think that it's only the Sven there. Okay. He lets Ice do all the attacking on the catapult, and then he steals it with the last hit, breaking the smoke. True team play right there. They have to defend this top tower, though. If there's no reinforcements coming in, this is a level 3 edict and no glyph available, they could kind of just make quick work of it. Now they're going to rotate around with the birds as well. Yeah,
Warcry to getting close. Are they going to go for a Stormbolt? No, just Edict to bring down the tower. While not BZZ, 333 jumps in. Thinking of another player that's name starts with 3. They'll snowball, and it apparently does go into the Chrono, so mechanics question answered. But it comes at a trade. Big coil from Ice. We'll finish off one, looking for a bit more, and these familiars are coming in from the backside, sniping out the Sigil, or trying to do so. But it's taking them a while to bring it down, and they're not particularly effective against this. Sigil's actually doing a lot of work.
Sven with Warcry on has 317 move speed next to this sigil.
It does give them that glorious
110
110 bounty, though.
I think Q might be a little bit in and over his head here. Almost got caught out there in the bottom lane, completely alone going to Nova against a Visage and a Drow. That was pretty scary.
And Black could blink in on him now if he wants
dagger,
to.
yep. So they could have gone for that kill, but I think they weren't sure if there was any reinforcements coming in here from LGD. But at the end of the day, they still get what they want. They got the tier 1 top. Now there's going to be a glyph because that top tier 1 fell. But it's just a matter of time before Black gets to chip away this at the bottom lane. And with Chronosphere and cooldown, I don't even see them stopping him from sieging this tower. He'll be able to see pretty much anything else coming in and just blink out.
Yeah, even the Chrono is still something that you can dodge if you're really quick. A bit harder, but just in general, it's a momentum that is really going against LGD.cdec. Some lineups are great at playing from behind, and some lineups you expect them to get out to an early lead. But Drow Visage is one of those drafts you don't expect it. You can't afford it. His Q might even get finished off just by familiars. He'll be able to surge his way out. They're snowballing in during this time. Garter just going in on Ice by himself, basically. He's got backup coming in now from 3-3-3. But the familiars are still there on the backside, causing problems. So on the mid lane, Fenrir and Super will combine with the Stormbolt and a Splitter. If they get the kill on the Faceless Void of all heroes, a big hero to bring down. And they'll now take a tower mid. There's no glyph up for the Dire any longer. And this will go the way of Fenrir. He gets the last hit up to 800 gold. Ice also coming in. He's got a coil ready. Doesn't want to go. And they're picking LGD.cdec apart.
Yeah, this map is falling apart. This is a very, very one-sided game. It's 7-4, but this is going to be a 10,000 gold lead very soon if they don't do anything about it. And it's just the way the lanes played out and the early game rotations from LGD didn't bring enough with them. And Vici will just be getting away with this strategy because of it. There's so much farm going in the Drow's way. Void has gone for Midas himself to try to catch up. But I just think it's going to be too late. I'm not sure I agree with this decision. You could have had a Mask of Madness instead and be working on treads, and then maybe they could get a couple of kills off that. But if they start playing a Greed War against a team that's already 8,000 gold ahead and taking their tier 1s, you're just not going to win.
Well, it's funny because he buys the Midas, and then right at that point they want to go fight. They might get Super here, though. Smoke's going to break. He'll time walk up to the high ground. He actually found 2. Super ran into this. Fenrir caught out as well. Super on one side of the Chrono, being focused, but the Familiar comes through. Then the 3 hero Stormbolt, completely turning the initial engagement. Still, they tank through this. They'll kill off the Visage. The trade there is the Razor. And now 3-3-3 may drop as well. Brought low, finished off. Fenrir trying to chop wood, but maybe chops him. It ends up being a 4-for-3 exchange. Familiars hunting Q. They've got the Drow bonus armor. Or sorry, bonus armor. Bonus damage. Jesus. And they'll chase Q down. But they don't go in range of the tower. That would be feeding gold away. So, a victory for LGD.cdec there. And the graph does tips and pretty heavily because Vici Gaming had a sizable lead for that stage of the game.
That was a good illustration of how powerful LGD's lineup is when they get the fight on their terms. They had double Ion Shell on heroes in the middle of the fight the whole time. Even though the counterplay for Vici was really good there, especially Fenrir and Super landing some amazing spells right there, it wasn't enough. But keep in mind, Black wasn't there for the fight, and Ice came in from a kind of awkward angle and only hit 1 hero with the coil. He hit 2 heroes with the silence, and then he got killed because he was in the middle of 2 heroes with Ion Shells on. Because of that, well, it just wasn't enough. Now, we're going to see a Vanguard pickup here for Darkseer. I hope this is going to be a Crimson Guard, and it is indeed. He's bought the recipe. That is a really good item against Vici's lineup. Wow.
Amazing against Familiars in particular.
And Drow.
Yeah, that's certainly true. No, they'll go in now, looking for 3-3-3. The Stormbolt will find them, and they get caught up with the Splitter. The follow-up's there. The Snowball keeps him alive, though. He's going to be rolling back into this fight relatively soon while damage is stolen by the Razor, and they get caught in the middle of the Familiars. Then the walls drop to try and cover them. Walrus punch onto Fenrir, but the Sven stands strong. He's beefy, man. I'ma pump you up, he says. They'll get 3. They all live. Even through that defensive Snowball. Sin, that was so unlucky. They smoked, like, right here, and this ward almost saw them. But they were just out of vision.
And it's just, yeah, with these kind of exchanges happening, the difference between the team fights we're seeing right now is that whenever LGD wins a fight, they win it kind of in an awkward place, whereas when Vici wins a fight, they either force a glyph or take a tower. There's always more to be gained for them because they have the better pushing lineup. So whenever they win an exchange, if the fight is taken at the right place, they will get a collateral. And we're just not seeing any collateral from LGD in this game. They've got half a tower bottom, they've got 2/3 a tower mid, and 3/4 a tower top, but neither of them, none are falling. And I just don't see them crossing the river right now, to be honest with you. It seems like there's such a good grip on the map from Vici Gaming right now, and they also have shorter cooldown ultimates. They can fight more often, apart from the Familiars, which is a long cooldown. You've got Sven's ultimate isn't that bad. Dreamcoil is a pretty short one. And then on the other side, you've got something like Chrono, which is a very long cooldown and very important. They can't fight without that. Vici just have more options. And now they got a mech too, which is the big difference maker so far for the Dino.
Not to mention the eggs. It's almost ready on Fenrir. And he's not close to level 11. That's the only unfortunate part for the Visage. A lot of his participation, I guess he hasn't actually been there for the kills. His levels are fine, but I have seen this support Visage like hit level 11 around this point in the game if he's actually there for most of the kills. But yeah, nonetheless, FY, Ags coming soon. Still a very potent pickup. And LGD.cdec are potentially about to get caught again. Ice looking for that blink in. He can go into maybe here, try and prevent a Chronosphere, but they want to make sure they catch multiple heroes with this, so they're waiting for the right opening. They'll time walk out. Ice whiffing on the blink, but maybe doesn't have a great way back in, as he's already used that time walk to retreat. So they'll just resort to having FY push out this mid lane, finish farming his Zags, and both teams will disengage for now. Do LGD go back in? They're thinking about it. They smoke as well. And this was not spotted by Vici Gaming.
This is a good play. They have to go for this now. They know that the Visage in the mid is in the mid. They know there's multiple heroes bottom. If you don't try to take this fight, you don't try to take any fight for LGD. And unfortunately for them, they're kind of wrapping around the wrong way. They might find Super now, or no, they're going to find Ice. He's totally dead.
Ice. Walrus punched up in the air. Will end up going down. It's a 2-hero Stormbolt to turn this. Fenrir caught out now in the Chronosphere, taking decent damage, but another good Split Earth will slow this one down. It's just not enough, though. They still end up losing, too. Super now may be caught out as well. They finished the Crimson Guard pretty much. He's bought up the recipe for it, the Buckler recipe as well. Just needs that chainmail. And LGD.cdec, they're about to have a much better way to deal with the Drow, the Familiars, and just the general damage output of Vici Gaming. Maybe this is enough for them to turn the tides, and this is still staying within a fightable discrepancy. It's a 5k gold lead for the kind of start they had. It's not overwhelming. And
I'm really curious to see this item in play.
So the only issue that I had with it when I experimented with it is it's got a really long cooldown relative to the duration. It lasts for 9 seconds, I believe, and it's got a 70-second cooldown, so it can be enough to win you a fight, but you've got to use it at the right time.
It's kind of like Pipe in that regard, which I think is fine, because it's supposed to be a counterpart to the Pipe, the physical edition of that. And against this Radiant lineup, we're going to see the true strength of the item here, I think, if they manage to execute it properly. Uh-oh, Fenrir. Totally out of position here.
Oh no, got the 2-hero stun again. And they pop the Crimson Guard. Do Vici Gaming actually want to fight? It looks like they want to disengage. Maybe wait for this one to end. The Familiars come in. They're going to get cleaned up by the Razor. Now the 4-hero coil. And Crimson Guard is down. They'll look to re-engage. Super caught out on the wrong side of the ice shards. He'll end up falling. Fenrir a bit too squishy to go in. And Black will make his retreat. It seems they're able to tank through the damage. Now they snowball forward looking for more. FY, third on the list, should be falling here. Gets bashed by maybe. Walrus punched up in the air. And it really did help them soak up a lot of damage in that engagement. 3 heroes end up falling.
It kind of worked like a... It kind of worked like a deterrent, to be honest, because Vici wanted to go in, but they knew that if they go into the Crimson Guard, they won't be able to finish the heroes off, so it just bought time. It didn't really block as much damage as it just...
Yeah, it really discouraged them.
Seconds, seemingly.
And then the Familiars came in, and they just fed. You know, they didn't really do anything in that fight. And now there are actually no Familiars on the map for a minute, which is another big victory for LGD.cdec. They can push out the lanes, and the farm is starting to stack up a bit. Maybe now works towards probably his Ags, maybe his... Well, I guess it could be either. Ags or BKB, either way. A good damage item for him. The Razor picks up his own Ogre Club, so same options for him, and they're still not really at a point where they hit particularly hard, like with pure right-click, but their team fight is strong. They're a very good death ball right now, Sind.
I still think if you're Vici now, you just need to bide your time. Continue farming, get some crucial items up. Black is getting close to his next item. He has a Yasha and 2.2k gold. FY just finished his Axe, let him get level 11 so he can get some stronger birds. You just take it one step at a time. I think they've been a little bit too eager considering how their lineup works. What you'll usually see, once again, I'm going to refer to Cloud9 because I kind of consider them the main team at using this strategy. They've used it the most and had great success. What they'll usually do is they'll wait until, as long as they're controlling the game, they won't necessarily be eager to push the base until they feel like it's the right time. And that's generally when Visage has Axe, Visage is level 11, Drow has either a BKB or an Aegis to go high ground, and then you take the fights. Because you're controlling the map so well and you're farming better than your opponent, so you don't need to look for the fights. And this is exactly what I was waiting for them to do. Just go take Roshan.
Oh, ice. He just walked into the pit, but they take it so fast.
It doesn't matter.
He was spotted. I'm like, oh, this could be bad. Oh, wait. Roshan's already dead. It doesn't matter.
They're going to glyph the top tower. This is a very good glyph. I think this is an easy deny for FY. He's going to wait for it to get hit, and there we go. And now the glyph is back again. So basically a free glyph to secure a deny. It means only 80 gold going the way of each LGD hero. I think it's the bounty's 160 on tier 1s, right? Just they got like nothing out of this tower.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. I'm actually curious now to look it up. Yeah, tier 1 is... It's 160 instead of 264 in the previous version.
Yeah, that's huge. That's like 50 less gold for each enemy hero when it gets denied. So denies are really valuable here. So they've kind of slowed it down a little bit for Vici, and you know this is what they needed to do. If they keep controlling the map, I would also like them to get a gem just to secure the map control completely here and just try to dominate the map, use the advantage they've gained by taking the towers early. But what's really going well for LGD now is with these couple of fights and the new comeback mechanic and how much gold they've gained, they've managed to just pick up 2 BKBs because of that last team fight. And if you look at Vici Gaming's lineup, they still have massive physical damage, but damn, there's a lot of magic to be blocked as well with these BKBs. And they have Crimson Guard against the physical part.
It's a really good timing window for them. I think that's basically the feeling right now. And the concern is also that Vici are a lot about kiting, right? But you can't really kite Void if he gets a good Chronosphere. Kiting against the shards is very difficult if you don't blink out in time before they come, and they're going to look for an opening now. Charging in, they'll throw out those shards to start, but they fall short. Ooh. Not catching Fenrir. Didn't let him go the full distance. Now the snowball goes back the other way, but he still manages to kill up the Visage of FY. They'll jump forward onto Fenrir, stealing a lot of his damage, getting the kill, and perhaps looking for a bit more. The rest of Vici forced to retreat. Surge. Not going to find more follow-up, but the Familiar's also cleaned up. Only one escaping.
Razor is still so incredibly good against the birds. Of course, with Eye of the Storm targeting the lowest health enemy and these Familiars having pretty low health, in any sort of team fight that they fly in over the top, they're just going to get removed really quickly. In addition to that, you have a hard hitter like Void, who arguably doesn't hit that hard yet, but will. These birds are going to fall off, and I'm starting to worry for Vici that they're starting to miss the timing window, to be honest. It's not like their late game is bad by any means, but if they had controlled the game a little bit better, this is about the time when they would be looking to push high ground with maybe another half or another full item on Black, another item on the Leshrac probably, but they've given away a lot of kills here. And because of that, CDEC are now they've almost drawn back to 0.
I'm starting to wonder, Sind, if this Drow Visage strategy is just less effective in this version because, and like I was mentioning, a lot of times you'll see teams that run the strat. Like, obviously, if you execute it perfectly, it can still be effective, but players are human. Their opponents will find openings from time to time, and generally what we've seen teams do is they'll sacrifice lives to get towers, but towers are a bit harder to take. Oh, hold that thought. He's going to get picked off top lane, most likely by double damage. Coil? Oh, whiffed it. Whiffed that coil. That got Walrus punched by Garter. The turn may come now with the Ice Shards. Meanwhile, 333 also gets caught. Vici do find some isolated heroes. These are big openings for them. Q will drop as well. And meanwhile, the Leshrac gets a double kill. Maybe now joining the fight, though. He's got a BKB. And he's got a Chronosphere if he wants to pop it. It will be just on Super. Actually catching the Familiars as well. But Razor has no mana for his ultimate, so he can't even get it off. It's a big teamfight ability not to have right now as he gets forced down to the low ground and now gets caught up by Black. Try to TP out. Is there a stun? Going once, going twice.
Too late.
Familiars drop too late and gets nothing.
They had to drop the whole time. I think he just wanted to deal the maximum amount of damage and then drop them. But he underestimated the travel time before the stun comes off, and Federer is going to be feeling really sad about that. That was a high priority kill on a Void that they just missed.
And it's a farmed Void, too. Now picks up his Maelstrom. The Midas is really starting to pay for itself. But yeah, I guess my overall question, I guess, is Drow Visage just not as good if you're forced to normally, at some point, you sacrifice a body or two to get a tower. You know, maybe you throw a life away, but just use buybacks and split push. I saw a lot of games where teams in China were winning it that way. There's even a game where HGT gave up like 15 kills or something, but you know, every time they died, they do at least half damage to a tier 3, take a tower, cut a creep wave. I feel like that just doesn't fly in this version. It's not good enough to do that. You just give up too much for those deaths.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment, but I don't think that's been the problem in this particular game. I would definitely agree that in some of the games when you want to push high ground, but they haven't really even reached that stage yet, right? So we can't really blame it on that. It's more that Vici have been really eager to fight in the enemy jungle and, to be honest, just missed a lot of spells too. I think we've seen 2 completely whiffed Dream Coils from Ice Ice Ice. Very uncharacteristic for him. A couple of misplays here and there from FY being out of position, also unusual.
Yeah, that's certainly fair.
It's more the human errors here than the version, once again, I feel, for Vici Gaming in this game. And it's weird to see because their early game was so on point, I think. They did everything they needed to do. Got control of the lanes, didn't get ganked by a super aggressive early lineup. And then it's like, wow, we got through the hard stage of the game. Let's make the easy stage of the game harder for ourselves.
These familiars are just turning into food for maybe. He just walked up, casually smacked one, got the kill, brought another one down to half. FY will now resummon them. But they've been quite a piggy bank for LGD.cdec. And yeah, the Visage in general has been a bit underwhelming compared to what I've seen out of FY in the past. I will say that. Maybe the whole version's throwing them for a loop, just like trying to think about all the new features more than
even the
actually
best of
any
players have bad days or bad games. No one is 100%.
Not FY, man. FY never has a bad game. I feel like this guy never does.
This is a bad game for him. That's what's impressive, right? If he's playing a poor game and he's still doing as much as he is, then, you know...
He's still 8-4-3 end of the day.
A lot of those kills level is still pretty damn high, right?
Yeah.
So
that's for sure. They're looking for a jump here top lane.
This could be big.
Or bottom lane, yeah.
Ice 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 is going for the Axe on Puck, by the way, which is really interesting. And I think the reason they're getting it here is that they have Gust to combine it with. So the way it works is the Dream Coil Snap, which is when you break it by running out of the area, goes through BKB, in addition to being a longer duration. But if you're not in BKB, you can actually get hit by the Gust. So Black can knock them into a 4.5 second stun when Ice 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 is level 16. That's pretty huge. I look forward to seeing whether this is a worthwhile pickup in this game.
Yeah, and there's some other repositioning skills that in theory it could be amazing with, like the new Earth Spirit, potentially. With
Blinding Light?
His Aghanim's upgrade, Blinding Light, Vacuum wouldn't be too bad. Even Skewer. So yeah. There are some heroes that could really use that Dream Coil effectively. And if it goes well this game, maybe it's something that we see other teams experiment with in the future. But for now, that's all theory crafting. Gotta see it in practice.
It's still really cool, regardless of what happens in the game, just to try to see the new effects in play and how the pros perceive it. And of course, this is very much a learning experience for them. They've barely, if even, played this version, maybe a few times in scrims before today, but they haven't really had much time to prepare, so this is kind of their initial thoughts on what could be good in this version, and then they're going to refine it a lot over the next few weeks.
They'll probably even refine it a lot before tomorrow, honestly.
Yeah.
I imagine, my guess is most of these players will, the teams that are eliminated and the ones that are still in the tournament will pretty much instantly just start spamming scrims and pubs as soon as these games end. And some of the ones who aren't playing right now might already be doing it there. So I think we're going to see them ramp up pretty quickly. Top lane, though, Super gets caught out, but there's no Frostbite. Almost got him in time. But he's able to TP out. He's just bought a very late Soul Ring. Not sure
it's very nice to see the gem being picked up here by Q. It's the right call. They see that this is a close game and it's going to come down to vision. So he's going to start trying to deward. There's still... Oh!
Coil okay. Bottom lane. The familiars are there. The coil instantly broke and they just snipe out the Crystal Maiden. Combo. That's really annoying. That is with the Ags as well. And now 3-3-3 gets caught up.
3-3-3 is almost dying here.
Ice 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 will grab the gem as he leaps forward. Can't finish him off. He'll end up surviving for a little while longer. Stunned now onto XH. They do have Chronosphere, but a triple stun. A little bit stacked, but still decent. We'll go on to maybe. They begin to steal Fenrir's damage. Trying to smack him down. They'll lock him in place to finish him off. He's the only casualty here as Ice 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 escapes, and he did retrieve the gem, which on that count pretty much makes it a worthwhile trade no matter what.
I lost a familiar as well, but that's okay. He's got the resummon ready for FY. So, and at the same time, Black, he's finished off his Manta style and has the Eagle Song. Actually, has the gold for a butterfly. He's getting really farmed, and he's starting to split push. And with no Treant on the side of LGD, perhaps this is going to come down to chip damage with the birds and Drow, eventually just taking down one tower after the other. And also, one thing we haven't talked about, I think this is the first butterfly we're going to see in 682.
We saw one earlier on the Morphlane, but he didn't use the flutter effect, I don't think.
Exactly, there's a flutter effect where you can trade your evasion away for 20% movement speed for 8 seconds. And that's pretty interesting for a hero like Drow, where it's all about having the distance. If you can use that to get away and get your full agility back, it's worth sacrificing your evasion for by far. So, going to be interesting to see if Black chooses to do that.
Oh, also, I did not see this change, but Bloodstone is a new recipe now. So
yeah, Soul Ring based.
Soul Ring and then an 800 gold recipe. So it's a little bit cheaper, and I guess it has a nicer build-up as well.
Yeah, and 10 less damage, though. It lost the plus damage it had from the Perseverance upgrade. But the heroes that got Bloodstone don't really care that much about the 10 damage. Like, it's good on a hero like Storm to have 10 damage, and arguably on Leshrac it's also somewhat decent, but a hero like Timbersaw doesn't really care. So I'd still overall consider it a buff to Bloodstone, even though it's just a slight one. But the more interesting thing is the build-up, that heroes that like to get Soul Ring can now actually turn it into something meaningful. It's the first upgrade to Soul Ring the game has had. It used to just be an item you buy and then you sell it in mid-game, but now it has value. So I like that change a lot.
And on that note, we do have some disconnects. LGD.cdec, it's not been the smoothest day for this event. Some of it's perfect world, I think. Some of it may be the computers there, but unfortunately haven't had too many clean games. Well, hopefully things will settle down over the coming days. And yeah, there's also been some other issues, like with Dota TV. For some reason, your audio wasn't in the second game from earlier today, even though you had it on. Not sure what's going on there. We've been hearing the Chinese broadcasters, so hopefully things will settle down moving forward. But yeah, overall some interesting pickups, and I think the flutter effect, like you said, will be much more useful this game than what it was on the Morphling earlier today.
I think arguably Drow is the best hero in the game for flutter.
She needs the positioning more than almost anyone. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else who would need it as much.
And the thing is, when he already has the Manta style, so he has 385 movement speed, I think if he uses Butterfly, he has like, what's that? Almost 500, right? So he can outrun pretty much everyone. So even though he sacrifices the evasion, as long as he knows he can't get slowed or stunned, he will be able to create the gap to use Blink. And I would love to see that play making a difference here. I think it's a really cool, addition to the item.
And the other nice thing is it doesn't make you even squishier, which is, obviously the main downside to Mask of Madness. So you do lose the evasion, but it's not like you're taking bonus damage on top of that the way you would with the Mask of Madness. So I think it's kind of a safer option for the Drow style of play. We'll see if it works out.
This is smoke time for the Dire. At least they're gathering up. I think they're out of smokes though. What do you think about Razor getting a Shiva's Guard? I think it's mainly aimed at dealing with the Drow and of course having some armor against the Visage Birds, but you would think that Razor would go for an Ag still. It's still a great item pickup, to be honest. And the Axe Refresher build I still think is core on Razor, but Shiva's Guard is an interesting choice which we pretty rarely see.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just staying locked on the Drow, like you said. Well, Chronosphere comes out onto FY. He gets caught out by Maybe. The follow-up damage will come through and the Visage will just melt. There's a double damager in Lurking in the river. They are caught by the coil. While this is going on, they'll snowball their way through that coil. Now it redirects to the south, but Ice will blink even farther away. They can't chase him down. And Familiars, meanwhile, are chasing Garter. They'll try and use that active from the Crimson Guard to keep him alive for a time being. But the Familiars turn and work at something else. They take the tier 2 down, but more importantly...
They can't go for this Roche. There's no... If he gets bashed, XH! What a chancy play. If he got bashed there, that could have been game, almost. Maybe at least the lane of Rax, I mean.
Maybe's trying to stop this puck from blinking away, but even he can't find that opening, so they barely make their way out of the pit. They were forced to drop the wall to hold the line. And the Roshan, not secured, hardly even cracked or scratched, to be honest. It's not taking much damage. But this is where Vici Gaming are... They're playing their draft well, Sin. Like, they're just moving around the map in a very evasive way, and it's preventing LGD.cdec from grouping up and taking those big team fights.
Yeah, it's good to see that Vici adapted to the situation and they figured out what they did wrong and they're doing it right now. This is how I think they should have also played the game 20 minutes ago until about 10 or 5 minutes ago, and then they should have maybe pushed for Roche, pushed for End or whatnot, but they've picked up on it here. We'll see if it's enough, because we're reaching the point in the game when Drow is going to be absolutely freaking stacked, but he's fighting into a Void, he's fighting into a Tusk and a Razor, and we talked about how all of these heroes are good at closing the gap. Can Flutter be enough, or the Blink? And can they chain their stuns properly, right? They have so many good tools here. And interestingly enough, they won't be able to chase Black through the Dreamcall because of the Ag Scepter now. So as long as the Dreamcall lands and Black is not inside the Chrono, I think he's pretty much getting away every single time.
I would agree with that. It seems like it could be quite potent to counteract it. LGD.cdec are once again moving towards the pit. Vici Gaming backing off and just playing keep away Dota for the most part. They are worried about grouping, and as much farm as this Drow has, it does all go away if she gets caught in an awkward position and they can't somehow save her. They don't have the perfect answers for Chrono. There's no swap. There's no glimpse back on a Void when he jumps in. There's no Doom to throw on him. There's no disruption. So it is still a situation where even with 20k net worth on Drow, that can quickly be made useless if she gets caught out.
There's the smoke. This one needs to work. I think they have like 10 minutes cooldown now on the next one. Yeah, pretty much exactly 10 minutes. And it didn't work. Or
well,
maybe.
Vacuum on Defender, but it's only the support Sven who gets caught out, but they're going to follow this up. Ice sleeping in. He got off the coil there, but it doesn't seem to matter. They're fighting under the coil for the time being. Garter, will he try to snap? And he's just running around in circles, trying to survive, maybe. Hasn't even used the Chrono yet. FY getting caught out as well. They're going to end up losing 3 heroes. Black will survive for the time being while Ice orbs, and he jaunts to it to the north, catching LGD.cdec by surprise. But this leaves the way open for Roshan. LGD.cdec didn't lose a soul. And the one weakness of this Ag's Puck, Sind, as we're seeing, is if they don't have to run, it's very ineffective.
Yeah, I'm still not feeling Black's throw in this game, to be honest. He's been part of 3 of 16 kills. He has so much farm, but doesn't have the confidence to go in. And I actually think it was the right call not to go in there. 5-man smoke, you find a support Sven, fair enough, let him die. Maybe the Sven could have even, I think he maybe could have even bought back and they could have fought for the Roche, but the way they chose to take the fight just cost them dearly. Now they might even lose the puck. Yeah, they will. Ice with a very bold play here, not worth it at all.
He wanted to go for the Aegis snipe, then he tried to kill off the Courier, but the Courier ends up living. The Roche will go the way of LGD, I think, anyway. Black is trying to push in the mid lane. The timing just wasn't right. By the way, do you know if the vision mechanics for the pit are the same? Like when can you see into the pit? Like when you're right in front of it, or is it only
if you can see into the pit when you cross this line?
Okay.
That's going to be my guess. And then, of course, flying vision works, like,
but like up the hill
always.
Doesn't work? The hill wards don't work?
Don't think so.
Okay.
A little bit of split push being done by Black now. He has to retreat now, of course, as they took Roshan and now came in. I think he could have stayed there a little bit longer, but playing very cautiously here, now almost finishing his Daedalus. And you know, the thing is, it doesn't matter what items Black gets if he isn't hitting in the fights. And so far we've seen a massive lack of confidence. I'm not sure if there's a good reason. Like, if it's with reason, if he feels like he can't go in and there's a really good point, then fair enough. But his team is basically sacrificing themselves, throwing their bodies at the enemy, and Black is just running away every time. So farming him up more isn't going to help. But if they get that fight where he gets, let's say, just 5 seconds of free attacking, he'll kill 2 heroes. But it's just not happening right now.
Oh, Super's been caught out bottom lane. He doesn't have a BKB hero, be Vacuum. They've got to preserve at least one disable until support arrives, and it comes now with the snowball. Then the Walrus Punch. Super gets dunked. Crystal Maiden ult was chattled. FY may end up falling here as well, taking a lot of damage. They'll continue pursuit, but familiars are arriving to try and turn this, and it'll be too late. He'll end up going down. Miwa on the top lane, maybe trying to duke it out with Fenrir. He'll pop his Chronosphere and just go to work on the Sven, and that Sven will pop in the end. Now, chasing the puck will be XH, but can't get in range. Well, he'll end up letting him live. Another 3 kills for LGD.cdec, who suddenly are right back in it. It's a dead even game. Vacuum on 2, wall deployed, but Black will just head to the right. They didn't actually get the illusions there. Vacuum first, then drop the wall, and well, that evens the score a little bit as Ice wants to hunt some familiars. Blinks up. He's going to be... Oh, wait, I'm getting my T's mixed up, aren't I? Yes, I am. Got a little excited there. It's been a weird day, man. What can I say?
Yeah, it's a weird game once again. This one, it's Vici just have seemed a little bit uncoordinated for the last bit of time. It's like they go in and out of being coordinated. They have some phases of 5 minutes in which they're doing exactly what they need to do, and then they start spreading out and doing weird skirmishes that have like pretty much no chance of working out, and have essentially, I feel like they've given LGD 10 kills they shouldn't have had, that they could have avoided by playing it a little differently here. And I don't want to say they're digging their own grave because it's still an extremely close game, but you just have this feeling that come super late game, Void will overpower the Drow. He'll jump in, he'll catch her in the chrono, and she will be killed. It's extremely hard to play around that.
And he's a huge Void now.
Yeah. MKB as well. Butterfly has no effect anymore.
Yeah,
Black will get killed during the chrono.
That is one thing that we didn't really talk about with Void, is Chronosphere no longer disables passives like Evasion, but with the MKB, that stops mattering. And maybe it was looking for Chrono. Black blinks out. Not going to find the opening.
Black finished a BKB. It's go time now. The way these fights need to play out is they need to force maybe to use a Chrono on anyone who isn't Black. He blinks in, he pops absolutely the whole package, BKB Manta, and just starts clicking away at stuff. Because no one else is going to kill him apart from the Void. And if the Void Chrono is already used, he'll probably be able to take down the Void from a distance before he even reaches Black. Because Black is really, really hard. Especially if he gets one or two lucky crits, so... Definitely the potential is there. We still need the execution from Vici to come out, though. Or maybe they could, alternatively, they could start farming the Sven and try to go for that late game fight, but they haven't taken
42 minutes in, though. I don't know. He's gonna need to end a big streak, I feel, if they want that. I don't know if he can just CS his way back into this one. And, well, Ice gets caught bottom lane. That's a very dead puck. And the Void can just keep on going around the map and doing this every 80 seconds. If they just try to split push, he's just going to pick them apart. Maybe they can set up a trap of some kind, do a bait, but just trying to do it a pure split push style. It doesn't seem like it's going to work. Top lane, Familiars pursuing out 3-3-3, but won't be any follow-up onto that. We'll just retreat out. And maybe we'll start aggressively split pushing now, Sind. Going for the tier 2 tower bottom lane. There is a glyph available. I'll probably
There's no TP on Void. If they realize this right now, they could perhaps push high ground here.
The Drow is coming back to defend, though.
Long way home. And he's the most crucial part of LGD's fight. I think they could have 4-on-4'd them in the top lane right now and taken at least the tier 3, maybe Rax, but taking the defensive approach here and not even making it on time is just kind of poor decision making. You see the spam pigs coming out from Ice. Hello, why aren't you pushing this tower? There's no Void. And now they're going to force the glyph finally with the Familiars, but it's just too little too late.
And LGD.cdec, now with that tower down, look for more kills. They've got a Chronosphere in 8 seconds, and they're about to jump in mid lane. Black, he's the one that really can't afford to get caught. Not only does the Drow stop being able to split push, but then you lose your Familiar damage, and it really slows the D push. Once again, jumping in.
There's a 100-second cooldown on the artillery right now. Oh, never mind. Oh yeah, that one is permanent in the Familiars as well. Because they count as...
No, those are the bonus charges. They only get it when you activate it, or if you're in the 900.
Okay, weird. I think I might have had... Oh, never mind. I think I had the... whatever. The visual of that, but yeah. It shouldn't work when he doesn't trigger the aura up there. They shouldn't have it. They also don't have it now. Looked like they did before. Weird. Okay.
Yeah,
well, anyway.
Only if he's standing near to them.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll be seeing Black on that area of the map.
So he has to
often.
wait for a minute now before the artillery is really strong. I don't think they're going to get anything out of this. And to be honest, right now, LGD are just controlling the map better. They're in the enemy jungle, they're farming it up nicely, they have better wards on the map. Black is being more cautious around the map as well, and it's kind of a weird stalemate to end up in this kind of game where it looked like it was just going to snowball out of control, but at this point in time, I feel like there's not too much to say apart from the next team fight is just absolutely crucial right now. If there's a good chrono, that might end the game, or at least get them a lane of Rax. If the chrono does not come off well, they could end up losing 2 lanes themselves, because one good team fight for Vici, especially, wow, Black has a DD. He hits for 650, are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Because it's all off of his base stats, his bonus damage. So much agility. That's a big double damage, really. Some heroes it's still good, but on a Drow, she might be the best carry in the game to get that. I guess Fen will be up there generally too, if you itemize him with a lot of strength. But they'll kick the tower top lane. The familiars do their work.
Mission accomplished. Back to the carrier. It's gonna drop them soon here and maybe get one creep.
Maybe build a few more interceptors.
He lost one. He lost one to the creep wave. He got pissed off and resummoned them.
Well, he's confident that he won't really have to engage for another 3 minutes, and this is starting to look like the way that Cloud9 play it. This reminds me of Bone 7's Nature's Prophet.
Bottom lane, Black's been caught out. Not fast enough, though.
They did force out a BKB on 333 as well in this top lane, so I'm not sure how much it'll come into play, but he won't have it for the time being. And now they're stunning creeps as they retreat out. Maybe it's starting to push this lane in, though. And they're setting up shop with Ice in the tree line. Do they really want to risk a go on the Void? No Aegis, but he's up to 6,000 gold. Is it a refresher kind of game, Sin? I mean, do you just want like a second Chronosphere? More damage? Where do you even go with this much farm?
I still think a Butterfly wouldn't be too bad of a choice because that's a dead Razor. I think it's about the only real threat for Void when he's in BKB right now is obviously the Drow and the Familiars. So a Butterfly gives him a lot of effective HP as well as damage. There's no MKB coming out for Black. If he wants that, he has to sell either the Manta or a Blink right now, and I don't think he really wants to. Might see him selling the Blink for some lifesteal instead, which I think would be really, really useful here. But yeah, either Butterfly or Refresher at this point for the Void.
Man. I think I'm rubbing off on you at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll take the blame.
Something needs to happen at this point. This game is going out of control. We're losing track.
By the way, Fenrir's just been hiding in the shop for like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something along those lines. Almost was spotted out by the Darkseer who was waiting there. And the Familiars are just deep pushing the mid lane. Constantly stomping the creep wave, coming out and auto-attacking.
Black does not have buyback if he gets killed right now.
Maybe he's going to get caught out, but who's really caught? It's Black who tries to Manta style. Walrus punched in the air. Now the Chronosphere can come through. Maybe doesn't finish him, though. Okay, there they go. They get the Drow kill. Maybe we'll end up living. Ice pursuing him through the tree line, but he gets the kill. It's a huge streak that he just ended. That's going to be a big swing as well the other direction. And that Void had a streak. The Drow Ranger just had farm. So the bigger kill going the way of Vici Gaming. A 2-for-2 exchange. They look for a bit more here. TP's out.
Oh, no.
Coil will break. But they don't get the familiar stun in time.
Changed his mind halfway through. He wanted to stun the CM, changed his mind, then he wanted to stun the Darkseer, and as a result ends up hitting neither of them. That was really unfortunate, but to be honest with how that started out, that could have gone so much worse for Vici Gaming. I think a 2-for-2 is...
How much was that Void kill worth? I would love to...
That could have...
That was quite a bit. Like, kill-wise, that was even, but you look at the gold graph going pretty far up for the Radiant. That Void kill must have been worth a lot.
If they didn't get enough damage out on the Void first, like Black got quite a few hits out on the Void before he got chronoed. If that hadn't happened, they could have lost the game there. Black had no buyback, and that's the time he decides to go for the bold play. That was pretty crazy, but they got away with it.
He did Manta there, which I think confused LGD.cdec for like a half second as they came in, and the chrono came out, but it wasn't as fast as what they were hoping for. But yeah, that was real close to just costing them the game. And it just shows you how frail the Drow Ranger is. That's like a 5.5 slotted Drow Ranger, you would say. 5 slotted at least, but she's so squishy. One good chrono and she just dies.
The big thing that came out of that fight for Vici was, like you said, they ended the streak of the Void and Puck got the gold. And with that gold, he bought a Hex. So I feel like we haven't really seen much come out of the Axe. I don't think it's been a worthwhile pickup just yet, at least with how the fights have been panning out for Vici. But the Hex, if they catch the Void with that, that's easily the biggest item they can have right now. And they might get that exact opening right now. They're smoked up. Although Black is in the middle lane, so he's going to have to cross the map, and that'll take some time.
He's going to go rejoin his team. Vici Gaming still looking for an actual lane of Rex. They've brought the range Rex top down to half, but we saw a comeback from 5 Rex earlier today, Sid, so
yeah,
this half Rex is not really cutting it for Vici to feel confident just yet. And they'll kind of hang out near the pit. Looking for an opening. Now Garter. nearly in position where Vici could catch him out. Or vice versa if the Void joins this one, but yeah, they need 3-3-3 here as well. And what really worries me for Vici is only the fact that we haven't seen LGD really nail like a full team fight. With the Crystal Maiden ult, vacuum into Chronosphere, 4 or 5 heroes trapped within while Razor goes to work. If they ever get more than just like a 1 or 2 hero solo Chrono, that could just be a full wipe off the bat.
It should be. If they do that, they really have to win the fight completely. Unless if Black is not caught in the Chrono. Because it's pretty much all about Black at this point. They've invested so much farm into him, and if he's not caught and he gets to attack, even if they get a Chrono on 2 or 3 heroes, he will get kills.
Oh, yeah, caught out bottom lane. This time he has buyback, but just having to run back to the Roche pit could be costly. Meanwhile, on the top side, they've gone on the 3-3-3. He gets hexed. That Ice extra bounty from earlier making the difference here, ending the streak of the Void. Simultaneously, they'll find the Sven kill in the river, but it's really about the Rax for Vici. They claim 1 lane on the back of the Ice hex. Familiars will be finished off now by the Razor, but LGD got to take a Roche. They got to get something big in exchange for losing a full lane like that. And they'll try to now. Black did buy back, though. Black's going to come into the fight. If he dies again, it could be incredibly devastating. The Void leaps forward. They won't have a Chronosphere to lock down the Drow. And now the Silence can come out, bringing a lot of these heroes low. Nearly finish off the Tuskar, but can't quite do it. Look at the crits from Black, but he gets vacuumed back towards the Void. He's not really hitting hard. He's getting chain stun. They'll lose the Drow. Oh, no. It's not even the biggest streak, but dead for 110 seconds. Ice has got to stall. It's 4 dead, but it feels like so much more. Vacuum, cooling down. Should they be
Black
going?
Could have just flat out killed the Void there. He started running away. He was at 600 range. I know he was attacking uphill, so there was a miss chance. And he died to this.
Oh my god.
Oh no! Oh, that's one of the changes to Roshan. Slam's damage increases every 4 minutes. I don't remember the exact value, but that shit hits really hard right now, and Void was not expecting that. He's gonna use it again now. Oh boy.
Are they gonna steal this Aegis now?
Any more clowny stuff packed into this game now? I don't know.
Stun on 2. This might be a big turn, but they're losing to Puck. He drops quickly, and they may drop Feder as well. It's gonna be another 2 kills fed away to LGD.cdec in their effort to contest. They don't have the Void, though. And this will buy time for Black to respawn. I suppose it's worth it for that. Oh, what a game. How much damage does it do at this point?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look up the value of that. I don't remember what it said in the patch, but it scales every 4 minutes. Slam gets an additional... Hang on.
20 every 4 minutes.
20, right? So every 4 minutes, that's times 13. So it deals 13 times 20 extra.
260.
260, and the base damage of Slam is, I think, about 100. No, not 100.
I think I said
right?
80.
Yeah.
It was
so
pretty
it's like a
low.
350 AoE clap he does right now. And Void was not expecting that.
Normally that wouldn't even be an issue, because Voids recently have always had Mask of Madness, but this Void doesn't have Lifesteal. So, like, if he had a Mask of Madness, which is kind of your standard build, he would have lived. It's just a combination of unfortunate circumstances. And I suppose if they don't do something with the Sages, then you have to say Vici Gaming were the winners for the last, 10-15 minutes of struggle, because they have the Rex.
Oh, they did buy back the Drow, though. Black is completely starved now on money. He doesn't have anything left. So if he gets caught again, he can't afford it. I think he's going to play extremely safe now, farm with the Manta style, wait for some more vision to come out, and then maybe they'll be able to push here. But this is that super late game phase when just things that are seemingly not that important when they happen 20 minutes in just decide entire games. You can't make a mistake now, basically, if you're the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot more margin for error on the side of LGD.cdec. Buy back up on the Void. He has the cheese right now. And that gives them 3 lives for him to work with, essentially. Not to mention Razor's also sitting on an Aegis. And he's getting to that late game Razor stage. They will take the tower, sniped bottom lane by the Familiars. It's really been good play from FY. I feel like he's done a lot more for his team the past 10-15 minutes than he did that middle chunk. He had a great start, kind of a slow mid game, but he's picking up steam now, taking out towers, taking out the first lane of Rax, and he's managed to farm himself a Hex. This Visage he's in the top 5 for farm, and he's closing in. Also, quietly, haven't really seen him much in the fights lately, but he's picked up an Ethereal Blade. Good answer to the Chronosphere, potentially, and looks like he'll work towards a Hex now.
Yeah.
He's fat.
It's a Hex or a Shivas. I'm not sure what's the better choice right now. I think the Hex is really good, but they already have
Oh,
two
maybe
of
he
them.
got
There we
baited.
go.
He got baited in mid lane. They come in with the snowball. There's a walrus punch here. Maybe he's just going to let himself die. He doesn't manage to pop a cheese in time. He'll go down. Now he buys back. And 333 will try and punish this aggression. He dropped his wall. The Shivas comes in. Razor is here. Void returns. He goes for the Sven. He can also go for Black. I don't think he saw that he caught him. I don't think he realized he caught Black. Oh, that could have been the game. But now the familiars go through mid, and there's no backdoor protection. They can maybe even start working on the tier 4 towers. What LGD2? Do they back? Do they push? They gotta decide soon. Familiars, stop being the creep wave, holding it back. This stalls the push by a couple of seconds. And now Ice 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 enters rat mode 2.0 as he starts cutting the waves along with the familiars. If they had gotten that drow kill, I mean, they still have to worry about this constant backstabbing of the creeps in, but that would have gone a long way.
Yeah, and Chrono has been changed. I'm not sure, because Black was like on the edge of the Chrono, and Chrono right now has an AoE of 425 instead of 450. But the vision is now 425 instead of 1,000. So if you're right on the edge of the Chrono and you're in the fog, you might actually not be visible. I think maybe couldn't see him. It wasn't that he didn't realize. I think he was just out of the vision, which is... Man, if that kind of marginal is going to win Vici the game in the end...
You can't make these things up.
Cyber Relief. Triple Hex now. Super not going for the Shivas guard.
And this is where the change to BKB becomes extremely important. It's hero bound now, and his is down to that minimum 5-second duration. It's long enough to fight in the Chrono, but after that, this Void will... If he doesn't get enough done with this Chrono, he's not going to carry them to fights, and... I'm wondering what he even goes for. Like, does he have to invest in a refresher just to get a secondary Chrono and BKB off? It seems like it might be the best option for him at this point.
It isn't all up to the Void, though. I think we've reached the point when Void really needed to deal the majority of the damage. We're reaching the super late game now where there's one thing we haven't talked about much, and that's the Wall of Replica. Which, you know, when you get to these super late games, if Darkseer's next item is an Axe, or maybe his next item after the Plate Mail item upgrade here will be an Axe Scepter, these illusions will hit hard, especially if he gets a replica of the Drow. That hits insanely hard. So much base agility. These illusions can do a lot of work too. If Void catches the right target and they get a good wall vacuum, I think it's okay that he dies after the Chrono. The rest of the team could probably clean up.
And they're going to look for the jump in.
Right.
There's the Hex onto the Razor, but Chronosphere can come. It's completely baited. They blinked out. It caught nothing. Ice 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 will go down, but now they're in trouble. They didn't get the Drow. There's a stun on 3. The back pulls the Drow Ranger towards the fight, but she stands strong with a BKB. She actually BKB dodged the vacuum, so she just fights her way through it. And yeah, this is all going to shit for them. Black cleans them up quickly. What an amazing dodge away from that Chronosphere.
Oh, he might even get the Razor here. He's running really fast, not using Flutter though.
He'll end up getting the kill, gets the double, and now straight onto the base. The tier 4 is exposed. Oh, that one whiffed Chrono. Void dead for 100 seconds, didn't have buyback gold, nothing he could do, or buyback cooldown, nothing he could do at that point. Super, though, is left behind. The range Rex is killed off, but Black is forced to retreat by the buyback on the Razor. He looks to come back in now, and he gets vacuumed up to the high ground. Can they focus him, though? He throws out the Gust. He continues to work on the Razor, but now the Darkseer is close to him. Unfortunately, even without the bonus agility from the ult, Black still hits hard. And the Darkseer just can't fight against him. This might be it, Sind. Just like that. In one instant, it's all over for LGD.cdec. No Void, whiffed Chrono, GG.
Black is gonna make quick work of XH as well. Yeah,
that blinked out, man.
I mean, the big shame about this is that it's kind of like in game number 1, where maybe plays a really great game on the Ember Spirit in game number 1, and in game number 2 he plays a great Void as well. But the moment he makes one crucial mistake in a team fight, the whole game just ends straight away. First he got caught off earlier and had to use his buyback, and then the second time the Chrono whiffs, and that's it. Vici doesn't need any more than that, even though they lost the puck in the opener of that fight, I think. Black was untouched for one fight. And you just saw he was on the distance, he hit for 5 seconds, 3 heroes died. And there was no way of coming back there. Maybe didn't have buyback, he already used it before when he got caught, and even ends with a cheese in his inventory. Just the triple hexes, at the end of the day, they make the difference.
Well, Sind, this leaves us with our final 4 sets. So if you missed any of the previous matches, guys, avert your ears and stop watching the stream. But yeah, with that said, well, actually, let's bring up our bracket here. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna have Tongfu versus Rave. That'll be your first semifinal tomorrow. The Old Boys against Rave, and then we will also have Invictus Gaming facing against VG. So we'll guarantee to have at least one Chinese team in the final, possibility for 2, with the way the brackets were structured, and it should set up for a very interesting day number 3. You won't be there for that, but Cinderin, you'll be joining me for the final day, right?
Yes, I'll be here on Sunday, but tomorrow you'll have to get someone better.
I'm sure that'll be really easy.
Yeah, so, I know.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed Cinderin's casting, follow him at CinderinDota. You can follow me as well at LDDota. And all VODs from today will be at youtube.com/BeyondTheSummitTV, except for that game 2. I'm not sure what we're going to do about it. We may just put the VOD up, but there's some issues with the audio, and the Dota TV replay doesn't have Sid's voice for it, so do apologize for those, but shouldn't be happy in the future. Anyway, that does wrap up our coverage for today for iLeague, guys. So with that, it's going to be LD and Cinderin signing off. Thank you for watching Beyond the Summit's coverage of iLeague. We shall return tomorrow, same time, same place, for your 2 semifinal matches.